But Bishop, I know that you grew up in Yorkshire and spent most of your ministry there. Can you tell us how this next hymn connects with your ministry and your time in Yorkshire?
Thank you. Yeah, back to Hull again. When my dad was curate there, he took the parish on a retreat, which was a weekend away at a retreat house in the depths of North Yorkshire in the countryside. And the retreat house was run by nuns, and I went with my parents because there was nobody to look after me. I was 6, and it was a silent retreat, so I wondered what had happened really. I wondered if all the adults had had an almighty row and they're all sulking and not speaking to each other, because nobody was speaking to me, and I didn't go into the talks because I couldn't understand a word of it really, and so I just pottered around in the grounds. It was, as I say, in the deep countryside. It was autumn this time of year, and a young nun took pity on me, and she taught me to play conkers. I'd lived in the city and towns until then, so I'd not really seen much of the countryside, so we gathered conkers and sort of then drilled them and put them on a string, and she played conkers with me the whole weekend. So that was my first experience of a nun really, a bit Father Teddish, playing conkers with her. But the order, they ran the retreat house, and they also had a house at Whitby, and the order was called the Order of the Holy Paraclete. Sounds like a bird, but it's not. It's just a Greek word for comforter really. Jesus uses it about the Holy Spirit. And this was the order of nuns, the Order of the Holy Paraclete. And as I say, they had the retreat house in the middle of North Yorkshire, also one at Whitby, which if you haven't been to Whitby, it's on the northeast coast. It's a very wild place. St. Hilda built a monastery there in the 7th century, and he couldn't have chosen a rougher spot really. But it's wonderfully wild. It's not wild in a bad way, it's just wonderfully wild, very stormy. If you've been, there's a pier, and if you're brave, I think you can probably go out on the pier about sort of 5 days out of 365 days. It's so wild. And at the end of the pier, the Borough Council, God bless them, have put a quote from a psalm, Psalm 94. The waves of the sea are mighty and rage horribly, but the Lord on high is mightier. And that's quite a pilgrimage going to the end of that. You know, you're holding on for dear life most of the time. But there you are, you're reminded that God is bigger than the storm. God is bigger than the storm. And Jesus said to the storm, hush, be still. Hush, be still. And every time you hit a storm, think of him saying that. That's a wonderful thing. It's a wonderful thing. But then they were at Whitby, and as I grew up and got ordained myself, I had quite a lot to do with them. We had some nuns in our parish, and also I used to go to Whitby to do retreats for them and look after them really. They're a lovely lot. And I used to sort of to and fro between Whitby and my parish, which was about 30 miles to the south. And once it was it was in December, and it was very fierce and very icy. And I got back about midnight from my parish because I was doing a retreat for the nuns. And the sort of Mother Superior had put a hot water bottle in my bed and a flask of cocoa by my bedside. So they looked after you very well. But I tell the story when I was doing the retreat about how I was a little boy, a young nun had taught me to play conkers. And after that address, a very aged nun came up to me and said, I was that nun! And I thought, oh, God bless you. God bless you. You haven't forgot all those years. And you often think about people who are sort of looking out for you. And nuns commit their lives to prayer. They're an icon of prayer. To the world, they're irrelevant. You think, well, what does a nun or a monk do? Well, they pray. And to the world, prayer is irrelevance. It's all about doing. And even as Christians, we can get obsessed with doing. And even clergy have to be so busy. And yet, we all know at the end of the day, it's grace that counts. It's God's love and God's acceptance that is all that matters. And prayer is all that matters. And it was the Order of the Holy Paraclete. And this next hymn is, one translation is, Come thou Holy Paraclete. Come thou Holy Paraclete. And whenever you go to the nuns at Whitby, that's what they sing. That's what they sing. And it's very moving because it's all female voices, and the church is usually dominated by male voices, so it's usually tenors and basses. But you go to the nunnery there, and it's quite shrill in a beautiful way. And it's all sopranos and altos singing this. And I think it's probably right, really, because the Holy Spirit in the Old Testament, the word for Spirit is ruach, And it's feminine. The words for God's Spirit is feminine. And so it's right that the sound of the Spirit, when you go to it, has a feminine voice. And it's a brilliant hymn. It's a brilliant hymn. And I've often used it in all sorts of ways over the years. So there you go.
So we're going to stand now to sing Come Thou Holy Spirit Come.